Let's turn to Minnesota now, where the woman who killed 2 Amish children in a meth-fueled crash was sentenced earlier this week. Samantha Jo Petersen pled guilty to 2 felony charges stemming from the September 2023 crash. Peterson initially tried to pin the crime on her twin sister at the scene, but now she admits she was the driver and was high when she crashed into the back of a horse-drawn buggy. Let's take you into the courtroom now. Listen to Samantha Peterson addressing the judge.
I want to begin by saying how deeply sorry I am to Sarah, Minna, and the entire Miller family. I stand before you today to take full accountability and acknowledge that I should have never been driving on the morning of September 25th, 2023. The loss of Irma and Wilma and the harm that I've caused to Ellen and Rosanna are entirely my fault. No words or apologies can bring back Irma and Wilma, but I need you to know how truly, deeply sorry I am. My actions caused the Miller family a pain that no parents or family should ever have to experience. The guilt and shame I live with every day are nothing compared to the loss that they've endured. I know I have caused an unthinkable void in their lives. I cannot imagine the grief that they carry each day, but I recognize the depth of the harm that I've done. I think about it every single day, and I know I will carry that weight for the rest of my life. There's no excuses for my action that morning. Every day, I wish I could go back and make a different choice. My addiction took a lot from me, but it took your world from you, and for that, I will never be able to forgive myself. Every day, I wish it would have been me instead of them. I know forgiving myself may never happen, but I am working towards healthier ways to cope, staying committed to my sobriety, and dedicating my life to honoring the memory of those I took from this world so that nothing like this ever happens again. I also want to sincerely apologize to law enforcement and to the court for my dishonesty following the accident. In my fear and shame, I made terrible decisions to deceive the police and the justice system. I know that my actions disrespected the officers who are simply doing their jobs and the court that seeks truth and justice. I am deeply sorry for that. I have learned that integrity and honesty must guide my life moving forward, no matter how difficult the truth may be. The guilt and sorrow I feel are constant reminders that the devastation I caused. I wish with everything in me that I could go back and change what happened, but I know I cannot. Since that day, I have chosen to get clean and sober. I have been fully committed to my recovery and actively participating in therapy to address the issues that led me down this path. These changes cannot undo what happened, but they are steps to ensure that I never cause harm again. I know that no words can undo the harm I caused or bring peace to the family that has suffered such an irreplaceable loss. All I can do is admit my wrongs and continue to work every day to live differently and accept the consequences for my actions. Your Honor, I humbly ask for mercy in sentencing, not to avoid accountability, but to allow me the opportunity to continue the work I've started in my recovery and to someday make amends in any way possible. I'm committed to honoring the memory of Irma and Wilma in every way that is honest, sober, and responsible. Thank you.
I do find that you are genuinely remorseful. I think you were candid in your material, your treatment provider notes, that you're certainly remorseful for what happened. I do disagree with your attorney that in the moment, at the time, I don't think that those text messages showed genuine remorse. I think there was some remorse, and that you do have a conscience, which was demonstrated by some of your actions. But I think primarily at the time, if you really look at those text messages, it was really all about you and what was happening to you and your life at a time when children were literally dying in a ditch. So I don't agree on that assessment, but the case law is clear that when you come to court and everything that happens in between, you've demonstrated remorse. I believe your heartfelt statement here today. You do have the support of friends and family as well. And of course, the major component with respect to rehabilitation, one of the factors, is that you have completed extensive treatment, which is to your credit. I want to be clear, though, that I am not departing from the presumptive sentence. It's not appropriate in this particular case for a number of reasons, despite the arguable presence of that particular factor. Particularly, the court looked at, when reviewing all of the information and those sentencing factors, the conduct itself cries out for a consequence, accountability, a punishment. You were a meth user for over 10 years. You had the 2 prior DWIs, and you were still choosing to use and be on the road. You had numerous opportunities to address the issue prior to this incident and this intervention. You were driving on an open road, high on meth. There was no visibility issues or weather issues, and you plowed into that buggy. You did call 911, but you didn't identify yourself on that 911 call. And while you may, based on your material, have comforted, at least for a short period of time, one of the children, your action that day quickly turned to intentional and deliberate attempt to not be caught. And that was your focus. That focus was something that you had done in the past, apparently, with your giving false name to police. I know it came up in your sister's sentencing as well. 36 hours later, law enforcement came to your door, and you were still attempting to not be caught. It took other people doing the right thing. Your Hy-Vee HR director, your Hy-Vee manager, your niece even, if memory serves, went to personnel at school and indicated that this is not right. I'm scared because they've switched and my mom may go to prison. Other people knew the difference, even children, between right and wrong, and you were still focused on not getting caught. Ms. Peterson, I am committing you to the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 48 months. Minnesota law requires that you serve at least 2/3 or 32 months, with the remaining 16 months on supervised release. Ms. Peterson, I will note too, and I'm sure you've talked about this with your attorney, it's entirely possible, because of all the good work you've done and the treatment that you've participated in and completed, you may very well qualify for early release programming with the Department of Corrections, and of course you've earned that as well with your conduct.
All right, quickly, reaction. Mackenzie Joy Brennan, she'll be out less than 4 years, it sounds like. 2 kids are dead.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's not dissimilar from the Ella situation, given that, she's in treatment now. But we do see that they said that she'd been using for 10 years prior and had 2 prior DWIs. So the fact that she is eventually remorseful and seeks treatment in that pre-sentencing period, it's a pretty high incentive in that period to be your best self. So I don't know. It's a little low, but hopefully it keeps her clean, I guess.
Quickly, Krista, too light?
I think it is. If I'm the mother of those 2 children, I'm pissed about this.
Yeah.
Really pissed.
Yeah. Well, let's leave it there. Thank you, ladies.